Both the event and the IMF's paper could not be more timely or more significant. Last month, the U.S. Federal Reserve announced its intention to explore the creation of a central bank-backed digital dollar. Last week, India surprised many with their plans to have a digital rupee online by 2023. So truly, the race for the future of money is underway.
Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I'd highly recommend that you go and look at the IMF's paper. In particular, there are 4 charts that lay out the various different decisions and choices that different central banks have made to do with the functions of CBDCs, the goals, the technology they're using, etc. And they're extremely clarifying. So thank you all. Thank you for having me as well. I'm now going to turn to Josh Lipsky, the director of the Atlantic Council Geoeconomic Center, for some concluding remarks. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Alice, for moderating that fascinating conversation. And we covered so much territory and, of course, more to cover. I want to thank Mu-Cheng Chun, Gabriela Giborg, Tobias Adrian for your thoughtful insights on digital currency this morning and taking time to share with all of us. Thank you to the IMF and the Managing Director for joining us at the Atlantic Council to launch your important new paper.
CBDCs and how folks are thinking about it. The data tells us that many countries are testing CBDCs. So why do you think that that testing is relevant? What do you think central banks are learning from this process?
So I fully agree with what Benedict and Robin said. And to add one additional narrative to Robin's, there's a looming thing that's happened around the world over the past 2 years, and that's the pandemic. And that is another driver of CBDCs because central banks and fiscal authorities in almost every country in the world realized they needed a better, faster way to transmit monetary and fiscal policy to their citizens. And that was very present as the pandemic took hold. And that was really one of the drivers of CBDC adoption, in addition to the rise of crypto and stablecoins and monetary sovereignty and the things that have been raised. Now, when we talk about financial inclusion, I think it's really important to understand that the comparison is a little different in advanced economies than emerging markets, because the use case in an advanced economy isn't necessarily financial inclusion, although that could be a goal and should be a goal. It's as much financial security, which is those people who are already in the banking system, can they get payments faster? Can they get payments safer and cheaper? And I do think it's important from a policymaker's perspective in Washington. The term financial inclusion is often thrown around, but it means different things in different countries. That doesn't mean that CBDCs can't have a use, but they'd be used differently in different types of economies. So what are we learning from the tracker? A few things I'd point out. First question is to intermediate or not intermediate. And the paper does this very well and lays this out very nicely. And the answer is we will intermediate. Every central bank in the world that's in a pilot phase, in the development phase, and the few that are fully launched are intermediating their CBDCs, meaning they're working through the commercial banking system or fintech service providers. They are not doing this direct to consumer.
Welcome to another edition of Token Topics. I hope everyone out there is doing great. The topic of this video is Stellar XLM and central bank digital currency adoption. In that previous clip you just saw, Josh was speaking at the Atlantic Council Geoeconomic Center that was held just past February 9th. You can see he was also speaking later with Michelle Dixon on the inclusion of central bank digital currencies. So if you connect the dots, you know that Stellar has a major role with the rollout of central bank digital currencies and its effect in the whole world. So in this video, we're going to go over some more information on Stellar's role with CBDCs. Also, we're going to get the latest of what's going on with the Stellar Development Foundation and go over the price and see what's going on in the community. So if you're a Stellar fan, you don't want to miss this, please hit the like and subscribe if you like the content. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Please invest at your own risk. I'm also not paid for or sponsored by Stellar. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? Before I begin, I want to let my listeners and viewers know about Crypto Pays. With one push of a button, you can turn any computer or phone or laptop into a crypto mining machine. So if you're wanting to learn more about this, I'm going to put an affiliate link in the description below so you can start receiving free crypto. Keep in mind, if you're not happy with Crypto Pays, there is a money-back guarantee, so go ahead and check it out. It doesn't hurt to at least check into it. Also, right now, there's a special deal going on with Decent Wallet. Buy a Decent Wallet and you receive free crypto during this special mega event period. I'm going to put the affiliate link in the description below. Also, next to it, I'm going to put a link to a video that shows you how to claim the free crypto and more about this special event. Now, keep in mind, it is time sensitive and it ends February 20th, so you want to jump on board now. All right, let's get a better understanding of CBDCs from this latest Stellar Development Foundation video.
Josh, it's been so great to be able to engage with some of your seminars with respect to CBDCs. You learn a lot when folks that are actually doing the implementation have these discussions. So grateful for all the things that you guys do there. So we're excited to have all of you here with us. You're all working on CBDCs in various capacities, and so it's going to be great for us to dig into some questions. So I'm going to get started. Benedict, my first question is for you, and it relates to the January 22nd data from the BIS on the status of CBDCs around the world. As both Josh and Robin mentioned, we see them growing in terms of the interest from them. And we're logging over 13 billion in transactions with the China pilot. And there are now 3 retail CBDCs in the Bahamas, the Eastern Caribbean, and Nigeria, and 1 coming soon in Jamaica. So there are 28 pilots and 68 central banks that have communicated publicly about their CBDC work. So with that as background, what does all this data mean?
So thank you, Danelle. So I think it's easy, as I said, for simplicity purposes, but likely also for practical ones, to distinguish between wholesale CBDC and retail CBDC. So a lot of the live projects, in fact, are the projects that are in advanced pilot are retail CBDC projects. So what they do in practice is, to a large extent, actually replace that physical bill, R-coin, but more so bill, with an electronic bill and make that interoperable across payment wallets and typically within the country. So these are very important characteristics to keep in mind. So these retail CBDCs are typically within a country, interoperable between wallets. So one of the, in my view, probably the best example to understand why people would do that is the ECNY. So the ECNY paper of last summer, which was fully published, set out the motivations behind the ECNY. And while there are many, I will only focus at this stage on 2 of them, which is the fact that there was less competition in the wallet sector. As you know, it was quite a concentrated sector with 2 leading players. And that led people to be in a wallet, and if they needed to be out of that wallet, actually very substantial fees applied. And what I mean with substantial is several % to withdraw your money from the wallet back into the banking system. So this is one of the concerns that in some, the wallets become closed systems. And you saw that actually in a pretty significant example in China. So the first object of the ECNY is to be interoperable between these wallets. That's the first object of it. And then the second motivation, which you will see in all of these retail CBDCs typically so far, is financial inclusion. And that is also why in financially included markets, like, for example, Hong Kong is one, you see that pressure towards the retail CBDC being much less. But as the Stellar paper also raises, for example, there is likely for countries with less financial inclusion, there's likely a potentially very strong benefit of having CBDC for credit analytic purposes that can assist in financial inclusion. So that's just to put the backdrop on retail CBDC. Now, a lot of people talk about wholesale CBDC, and one of the flagship projects in this context is happening out of my center, which is the so-called M-Bridge, a multi-CBDC bridge. All of these, just to be very clear, are pilots, and none are actually ready for any form of rollout. But so the intention or the goal of these type of infrastructures is really to speed up transfer across countries. So that is a cross-border study, you could say. And in this case is a platform with multiple CBDCs so that these transfers can happen across multiple borders of parties that want to interact. And obviously the central banks and the banks would be participants on those platforms. So
all right, so that gives you a much better understanding of the difference between retail and wholesale CBDC. And as you could hear what the lady was just saying, how everything is going to interoperate together, seems to me of the whole financial system and interoperation between private ledgers and open ledgers. And I personally believe that what she was really talking about is the interoperability between the XinFin network and Ripple's technology and Stellar and IBM WorldWire. It's all going to interoperate together in this whole new financial system in this new emerging world. I notice that she's not really saying names, but keep in mind that there's probably still NDAs in place. But if you've been subscribed to the channel, or if you have been studying the whole new financial system, you definitely have an understanding, an idea of the ISO 20022 tokens and the blockchain projects that are behind that, such as Ripple, Stellar, XinFin, IOTA, Algorand, and so on. But we are going to see a distinction between retail CBDCs and wholesale CBDCs, just as we're hearing about how there's going to be more for back-end, for enterprise use case. There's going to be more for retail. And then we have also global trade and everything. Now, can these all interoperate together? Sure. But they're each going to have like their own lane or use case, so to say. And right now we're entering into a paradigm shift between old centralized power structures or systems now with decentralized systems. Everything's going to be open and exposed, but not everything. There's still going to be use cases for private ledgers. Listen to this.
The best way to think about what we're seeing around CBDCs, and in particular the potential for open networks, is there's a real paradigm shift. The old paradigm was, if you are designing an electronic money system and you want to keep that safe and secure for obvious reasons, with old technology, with legacy technology, that meant controlling the infrastructure completely. That meant controlling the databases that hold the ledgers and the messaging systems for making updates to those ledgers.
Now, just as he stated about the power structure on the old system, this is the paradigm shift, is now we're having power back to the people instead of the other party being able to have power over our finances.
To a disconnected system. On the next slide, we see blockchain gives us the ability for a new paradigm where you can have safe, secure digital assets even though they're on a common infrastructure.
To simply put, what he's saying is from going from a centralized to decentralized.
That's the key takeaway. And that's why people are so excited about CBDCs. And that's certainly why we at the Stellar Development Foundation are, and in particular, are excited about the possibility for open networks, open permissionless technologies and networks to lead to a more connected, interoperable world. First is interoperability. It's essential that as central banks and lawmakers and technology companies are thinking about central bank digital currencies, that we keep interoperability in mind.
It's here why Stellar is a good fit for central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. So Stellar is an open source decentralized blockchain network that was designed with asset issuance in mind. It offers the interoperability and flexibility of a permissionless ledger while processing built-in capabilities to ensure security, certainty, and control, as with a centralized or permissioned ledger. The combination makes it particularly well suited for issuance of central bank digital currencies. So the price of Stellar right now is a little over 20 cents, so it's dropped down significantly. So if you're looking to dollar cost average, this might be a good time. Not financial advice, but if it was me, I would be dollar cost averaging, especially during these red days where it dips down. And as you can see on the 7-day chart here, it's had quite a dip, especially in this past day. So depending upon your situation, it might be a good time to dollar cost average. Keep in mind on this channel, I hodl. I'm a hodler. I'm not a trader, and I don't advise when to buy, sell, or trade. I'm just letting you know what I would do. Also, in case you're a developer and you're wanting to learn more about NFTs on the Stellar blockchain, I'm going to put the link to this Twitter down in the description below. and there's a second part to it, and you can create innovative NFTs on Stellar using JavaScript. Keep your crypto safe with a decent biometric wallet from IOTrust. It's what I use to personally keep my crypto safe, and I do enjoy the product. Purchase it through Token Topics right now and receive a major discount. I put an affiliate link in the description below. Alright, that's all I have for the video. I want to say thank you for watching another edition of Token Topics. Please do hit the like, share, subscribe, put your comments and your thoughts and opinions down below. I'm interested in reading them. And I want to say thank you everyone for watching another edition of Token Topics. Y'all take care out there.